The mortal lands are divided. A dozen kingdoms lie scattered across Pangaea, separated by dangerous wilds filled with bandits and monsters. The bravest mortals act as adventurers, guiding travelers between the kingdoms, killing monsters to thin their numbers, and plundering ruins in search of the lost treasures of the Golden Age. This is the world of Odysseys and Overlords. Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition brought this setting to the popular Savage Worlds Adventure Edition by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Now we are expanding the Odysseys and Overlords setting by introducing you to Bizarre Kingdoms. Bizarre Kingdoms is a setting expansion for Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition, though the lands and creatures introduced herein could easily be adapted to any Savage Worlds fantasy setting. In this book, you'll find 4 new kingdoms your adventurers can explore or even hail from. Bizarre Kingdoms provides not only setting information, but new rules, systems, creatures, and items drawn from these strange and distant lands. With this book, you can take your adventures beyond the continent of Pangaea and fully explore the world of Odysseys and Overlords. The book is written and laid out. We've got a beautiful cover by Dean Spencer, whose work continues to define the look of Odysseys and Overlords. We just need your help to get Bizarre Kingdoms out to as many people as possible. We feel that the best platform to do that is Kickstarter. To provide a smooth and easy fulfillment experience, books and add-ons for this Kickstarter will be fulfilled through DriveThruRPG. Aside from Bizarre Kingdoms, we are offering several add-ons you can pick up as a part of your pledge to support this Kickstarter. Backers will have an opportunity to pick up the Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition core book, several supplements, and additional POD and PDF materials for our other Savage Worlds game lines like Contagion Savage Adventures and Citizens Divided. If we successfully fund, we have a few stretch goals in mind which we'll share should we reach that point. This campaign could provide opportunities to further expand the setting if the funds are there. We hope you'll join us in our journey to bring this book to you and to the world. Bizarre Kingdoms is a supplement for Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition, using the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition rules and the Suede Fantasy Companion. Please consider lending your support in helping us make it happen for Bizarre Kingdoms by backing this Kickstarter. Hello everyone, welcome to twitch.tv/PlasticAgePlays, where this morning, or if you're in Europe, afternoon, evening, we have gathered to delve into the world of Odysseys and Overlords in support of the Bizarre Kingdoms Kickstarter. If you look at the pinned comment in the chat, that will take you to the Kickstarter for Bizarre Kingdoms. Bizarre Kingdoms is an expansion for Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition that brings 4 new nations into the game that have either been just briefly mentioned or very, very sparsely covered in the previous edition or in the Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition book. So, by way of example, we have the Collective, which we've been teasing since the inception of Odysseys and Overlords. The Collective is the island nation that is run entirely by changelings. There's a full overview of their politics, their spiritual beliefs, I guess, or religions, the various factions that argue within the Collective, and tons and tons and tons of seeds for adventures both on the Collective or outside the Collective using changelings. The continent of Quellen is explored, which was briefly covered in the first Gazetteer, but now is expanded. It was very much covered from like an outsider visiting Quellen's point of view. Now we get the full view internally, the history of Quellen, their incredible love of history and scholarship, various ways that their society is broken down and how they've evolved in order to make sort of the acquisition of knowledge the most important thing for them. Bizarre Kingdoms also covers the Commonwealth of the Undercurrent, which is home to the Ligonians. Ligonians have been a playable ancestry since first edition, and we've talked a little bit about their home, but this is really a big in-depth dive, literally, into their undersea kingdom, the Magicratic Republic, I like to call it, that they live in. And lastly, Bizarre Kingdoms will lay bare the secrets and horrors of the Brine Blood Empire, the imperialistic sort of conquering force kingdom in the Northern Sea, and that is the home of the Nginki. So all that stuff is in Bizarre Kingdoms. We just launched the Kickstarter a day and a half, day and 3/4 ago. We're up to 17% right now, so any support we can get would be super cool. If you've already backed it, thank you so much. Please consider sharing that link with all of your friends so that they might do the same. But today, we are going to be, I guess, just to back things up, if you've never encountered Odysseys and Overlords before, the Bizarre Kingdoms Kickstarter has the ability to add on the core manual, which requires the Savage Worlds core rules and Savage Worlds Fantasy in order to run. You can also get add-ons, including all of the previous first edition materials, which are set up to be still portable into second edition. Backwards compatible is not quite accurate because there's some conversion that has to be done, but the Odysseys and Overlords core book tells you everything you need to do for those conversions, and it's super simple. You can also get all of the previous second edition material as add-ons on this campaign as well. So if you've never checked out Odysseys and Overlords before, you're just a Savage Worlds fan, or you just like fantasy games, you can pick up everything you need as very affordable add-ons when you back the Kickstarter. That being said, today what we are running is the jumpstart for Odysseys and Overlords called Lair of the Gluttonous Gnolls. This is absolutely available both on Draft3RPG, but also as one of the add-ons on the Bizarre Kingdoms Kickstarter. And joining me this morning to go through this adventure, to experience this tale, I have a wonderful crew of adventurers, and I would like to introduce them to you now. And we'll start things off with Gilbert. Gilbert, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you are playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would care to promote.
Yeah, of course. I am Gilbert Ramos, aka at Ramos the Nomad, found everywhere at Ramos the Nomad. Uh, I am he, him. I am playing Chase Stiber, who is also he, him. Um, I'm real bad at shilling myself, Travis. You can find me over primarily on twitch.tv/rolling nomads, at where we are doing fundraising for Pride Month through the Trevor Project. So to keep up to date with all that stuff, you can find us over on Twitter @_rolling nomads. We have some promo stuff coming up with more details, and that's the best way to keep up to date with us at the time being. That and Blue Sky @rolling nomads.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was great. You're great at chilling yourself. Gilbert, don't sell
I
yourself
mess it up every time. I pause. I hesitate.
don't sell yourself short. That was beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, Bliss, please give us your pertinent details.
Hello, I am Bliss, Bliss Steel, she, her. Today I am playing Doiran Swiftwand, a spell scorched, also she, her, also a magic user slash wizardy type person. And I play video games in spicy type situation scenarios. You can find me on Twitter at BlissSteel, only if you're over 18. And I also play TTRPGs from time to time.
Beautiful. I appreciate you being here, Bliss. Always a pleasure to get to hang out and play. Next up, we have. Oh, and who was it you were playing? I'm sorry. Just tell me.
Doiran.
Doiran. And excellent. And then next up, we have Tom. If you could, please give me your pertinent details.
I shall do with vigor. Hi, I am Tom Moore. Very vigorously. I am Tom Moore. I am a professional GM over at startplaying.games, and there I have one game in preparation, which is a player-centered campaign for The World Below. And then I am gathering players. It's shaping up pretty nicely for September for a Changeling the Lost game. And I am playing Anders, who is using the same pronouns as me. That's he, him. And yeah, I am happy to have time to shitpost today in chat. So, ooh.
We are thrilled to have you, Tom. If you want to send me the link to that Changeling game, or even just to your Start Playing profile in the Zoom chat, I'll pop it over into my chat.
Do this.
Awesome,
Thank
rock and roll, and thank you. And while we are doing that, let's meet Ryan. Ryan, please give us your pertinence, who you are, what you do, who you're playing, pronouns, and promotion.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. My pronouns are currently they, them, although I'll accept any, just, consistency. Go with they, them. I can be found several places on the internet. Blue Sky is where I'm most active, by which I post like once every couple of weeks. It's just comradebubbles.bsky.social. I'm on Ko-Fi as the Moonlit Bard, which is what I publish role-playing games under independently of any contract writing I do. And I also stream as Comrade Bubbles on Twitch, so if you see me in chat, please say hi. And I will today be playing Deck Oliver, he champion of, oh god, where did that tab go? I've lost it. There we go. Champion of Chandra.
Excellent. Looking forward to diving into this. And yeah, Chandra is basically the goddess that is worshipped as the goddess of good. She is a goddess of nature and the moon, and she is the goddess for which the nation that you will begin your tale in is named, Chandra's Haven. Very, very brief backstory of the world of Odysseys and Overlords. About a millennia ago, there was a conflict among the gods called the Schism. Turned into an all-out war, god versus god, priest versus priest, until only two gods remained standing, Chandra, the goddess of the moon, and Ragnar, the god of war. And with those two left, they decided to call a truce, head to their respective headquarters, basically, and agreed to remain out of the direct affairs of the world. So no showing up. It doesn't mean they don't power clerics and have churches and do things to forward their agendas. They just aren't appearing on the world anymore. At least for the moment. But to zoom in Chandra's Haven, there is a little cabin. This little cabin belongs to a woman by the name of Leda. Leda is a wild folk, which are people who are descended from a time prior to the schism when the mortal beings and the various animals were closer in stature and in relation, and able to, in fact, even enjoy romantic relationships. This was one of the starting points that kicked off the the schism, I should say. After the schism, that capability was removed from the animals, but the wild folk were left behind, so they have animal heritage. And Leda, by trade, is a fence. She has invited a party of adventurers to come to her home for a bit of discussion, a meal, and a job offer. And just so that I am sure I'm not cocking anything up already, everyone, you see your token on this active screen where you are sitting inside of a nice cabin. Is that correct?
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I can move it.
Excellent. We have slain the first the first gremlin has been killed.
Yes.
So Lita has brought you all into the dining table, set up tea service, and says, I would like to offer you a job, quite frankly. Word of your previous expeditions into the Untamed Gauntlet have made their way to my ears. I was impressed with what I've heard. And I need someone of competence to address a failure on a prior expedition.
I there's a shift in body language for me that's very much a someone has recognized my worth kind of body language. Not from a low self-esteem, but yes, you're feeding my ego right now, kind of thing.
Yes, of course. Exactly. Because I had hired a group of adventurers that were on their way back from this expedition when they were besieged by gnolls. While most of the party were able to escape and they were able to retain most of the loot that they had gotten from their expedition, unfortunately, one of the adventurers, a human by the name of Jackson Steinhold, was captured. And, according to the other adventurers, had a particularly valuable magic item on him when he was waylaid. The adventurers did follow the bandits that captured Jackson long enough to locate where the hideout that they had taken him back to was, but they were not in any shape to attempt to mount a rescue. Rather than send them back to fail again, I've decided to hire a new group. The job is to make your way into the Untamed Gauntlet to the Gnoll encampment and retrieve the Rod of Cancellation and, if possible, Jackson.
Unless he made the mistake to get eaten, right?
Well, if there's anything left of him,
Oh,
you're welcome to bring that back as well.
sure.
I am willing to pay you 2,000 gold pieces for your trouble for returning the rod. If you can bring Jackson, be he dead or alive, I will increase that by an additional 500 gold. I am happy to, should you need it, sell you a cart, a mule, and a caulking kit in case you need to ford any rivers for 90 gold, which I'm happy to take out of your advance. And I'm willing to pay you 50% up front. What say you to the job?
Plant my mace, solid metal, flanged head down, and stand. You've asked the right people. There is nothing that clearly about to say I takes a breath. We cannot do.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. Tell me, will you be taking advantage of my offer for the supplies.
So, what distance are we talking?
Well, you will need to cross the Centaur borderlands. Should take you a day or two. I have already taken the liberty of procuring you a writ of salvage. She sets the writ down, slides it across the table. It's basically just a scroll that has the official seal of the church on it. This should grant you passage if you run across any of the centaurs, though there have been rumors of bandit attacks by the less savory renegade tribes. So you maybe wish to be careful for that. Once you've made your way across the river on the far side of the borderlands, you will officially be in the Untamed Gauntlet and be about a day's travel from the Gnoll encampment.
Hmm.
Why do we need a cart? How big is this rod?
The rod itself is not terribly large. It's you can hold it in a single hand. I just was not sure if you would need to bring additional supplies with you, if you would need, if you intend on bringing any loot back that you might find beyond the rod, and in the event that you need to transport a body back to Chandra's Haven.
True.
In reference to loot, you're only interested in the rod, correct? Anything we find, we might be able to keep for ourselves.
Subject to the taxes on the writ of salvage, yes. Writs of salvage include a 10% surcharge for anything that is brought back from the Untamed Gauntlet. So as long as you pay the taxes on it, yes, you're absolutely welcome to keep whatever you like.
I say we take the cart. I think it's a good idea.
I don't know.
I would never admit to being uncomfortable, but I move ever so slightly and like all the heavy chain starts tinkling.
I'm not interested in dragging the remains of somebody for 2 days across the country, so cart.
I'm not. Yeah.
Hey, maybe he's not dead.
Oh yeah, sure. In that case, I am happy to have him walk and I don't know, take something else instead, but yeah.
Right. No, everything this person just described sounds incredibly survivable. High chances he's alive.
Totally.
If we take the cart, we shall be in fine fighting form for the challenges ahead.
Yeah, she's taking it out of our advance anyways. No loss to us, sort of.
That and the loot we could find. We could grab everything on the way back.
Yeah.
Car basically pays for itself.
I
Good.
think we have an agreement. I address our temporary employer.
Beautiful. She sort of lumbers over to the bookshelf and returns, grabs a bag from the bottom shelf, returns, walks over, pulls out 90 gold worth of platinum coins and sets the bag in the center of the table. I wish you a safe and swift journey. I would, to the best of my knowledge, the Gnolls prefer to hoard their acquisitions rather than sell or trade them. So there's no real tight timetable as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe the rod is in any danger of going anywhere. Having said that, if you care for Jackson's well-being, expedience might be worthwhile.
Are you and Jackson like close?
Jackson was an employee, and he was an employee that failed his job.
Fair enough.
However, I am nothing if not kind to those in my employ. I would like to see him returned alive or returned so that he may receive a proper burial.
Do you miss him?
Not especially, no, I don't get. I can be kind without generating emotional attachments.
Well,
Chase
he
Chase
seems
is
great.
Chase is just gonna whisper to Anders, "We're gonna bring this dude back just to have him fired, aren't we?" Anyone who says that they're incredibly kind to their employees is definitely not incredibly kind to their employees.
Yeah,
She's
we're like
gonna
a
fire this
family
dude.
here.
She's gonna
Well,
fire this dude.
he did mess up, but I'm sure he could find another job if he's alive.
At least it's not by letter.
Does this count as like a 2 weeks notice? I don't know.
Unless she doesn't hold us responsible for the delivery of the notice. I think we are fine. Maybe we should check the legalities on the trip. I am unsure. I like the money though.
Yeah. Same.
Well,
Same
while
here.
they're having this whispered conversation, I'm taking the money and the writ of salvage so
Excellent.
that we don't have this random conversation in the middle of a living space.
Probably for the best.
She says, well then, in that case, I would implore you to head out shortly, travel safely, and return with my rod as abruptly as you can manage.
As Chandra wills. And where can we find this horse and cart that we have purchased?
It will be right outside.
Fantastic. And I will turn and I will make my non too stealthy way out.
All right, excellent. Does anyone else have anything further before you take off? Beautiful. You step out, collect the mule and cart, and you'll find inside the cart is a kit that has sufficient caulk to seal the cart 3 times. As you begin making your way through the small village where Lita lives, getting ready to head to the road to the Centaur borderlands, you start to hear some rather loud, out of tune singing. I miss you, the days we sang. Looking down south of you, you see a human dressed in finery, clearly a noble, sort of drunkenly singing into the town well.
I will go over and make sure they were in no danger of falling in their drunken state.
They are in no danger of falling in. They're kind of sitting next to it, leaning on it. Definitely very inebriated.
Do you need anything, friend?
Oh, just my peace. Just need my peace. And he sort of lifts himself up on his elbow and starts to lean over the well.
I'll do that. Like I'll extend a hand to catch him should he fall, but I guess in the motion of that, I'd also end up leaning over the well myself, just in a slightly more sober state.
Excellent. He regurgitates into the well.
Oh, dude.
I
People
will.
fucking drink from there.
Do you want to attempt to aim him in another direction before it goes in the well?
Very much so. Yes. This is a bad situation for everyone involved.
Excellent. I would let you give me a fighting check to do so. Or if you don't have fighting, you would be able to make an unskilled check.
I do have fighting. It was a 7.
Oh, glorious. You easily are able to grab him and move him to the side. He looks over at you and says, "Sir, I was going about my business."
Unfortunately, your business was ruining everyone else's business.
Ah, yes, that's fair. What? You're in an awful lot of metal.
That is my business.
And what is that business?
Upholding the glory of Chandra, bringing peace and security to these lands.
Oh,
And punching people.
On occasion.
oh. Hopefully not nobles who are a bit in their cups. And he throws up on the ground again.
Would there be a reason to punch nobles who live in a cup?
Not that I can think of. In fact, this noble thinks that you all are just spectacular folks. You're adventurers.
Correct.
If you can get me home, I will give you 100 gold.
Done.
He points to this house.
Oh, perfect. Oh,
He
was
says,
it like a piggyback ride?
I was no height. I was trying to make my way there, but I encountered the well, and then the world tilted on its side, and I've been unable to complete my journey.
Sweet boy. And I will just link arms with him, and then I will save you from the tilted world. Come, come. Let's journey the long way home.
You help him up, and he sort of like retches a little bit, and then belches, and he's like, "It's fine. So false alarm."
It's all right. Better out than in. Just let it all out. It's gonna be just fine.
I've the minute someone else stepped in to help this guy, I'm like, yeah, I've done my piece. I'm not in the splash zone anymore. It's all good.
Excellent.
Just for clarifications, I'm kind of new to this business, and is this how we do things?
You're asking the noble, or you're asking?
I'm asking my friends because the noble is being carried away by Chase.
We are heroes. We should always help those in need, and this man's clearly in need of aid.
Yeah.
When you get to the door, he absolutely upchucks on your shoes, Chase.
100 gold. I'll buy new ones.
Glorious. He hands you his coin purse and says, "May Chandra guide you on your journeys," and then turns and just falls into his door.
Right. Praise be to Chandra. I'm gonna door closed, open. You can breeze, or I'll just close it.
He kind of gently nudge him the rest of the way into the house and close the door.
What a nice guy.
What a fucking idiot. 100 gold, guys.
Yeah, you make sure you count that actually.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'll check over my own person, see if it wasn't a ruse of some sort.
It
Oh, fuck,
occurs.
did I just get robbed?
It occurs to you as you're looking through it that he probably had 100 gold when he went to the inn in that coin purse. He probably drank 20 gold worth of booze. Now that may very well have entailed, as a noble buying rounds for the room and things along those lines, but it is not a full 100.
He ripped us off. That scout.
And now he's lying on the floor, like, right?
Inside of his house, yes.
Inside of his house. Did you make sure he's not gonna, like, die from his throwing up?
That sounds like
Stuff.
extra. I was paid
Eh,
what I
it's
was
not our
due.
problem anymore.
It sounds like another 50 at the very least. I did my job.
I make a dismissive gesture and just going to the house and opening the door and make sure to put him on the sofa or bed or anything and prevent him from suffocating.
You lift him up and lay him on his side. He is deeply unconscious, and like pretty much immediately when you set him down in that resting position, soils himself.
Mm.
You're not gonna die from that when I leave.
Excellent. After having encountered the noble, is there any other business that you wish to attend to while in this small village that Lita calls home?
There's 80. Is there anything we need to pick up before we leave?
I would kindly ask Chase to either replace or clean his shoes.
I mean, it'll wash off with the walk, don't you think? I mean, it's not entirely necessary. It's just the top. I just gotta all scrape my shoes in the dirt, and it'll look all better.
I mean, you are right next to the town well. You could just pull up a bucket and pour them on your boots as well.
Yeah, there we go. See, I'll do exactly that. Good as new.
Much better. Not all adventures are worthy of deeds, worthy of recording the deeds within. This, I feel, was one of them.
Have we restocked the torches we kinda left burning in that cave last time? Might be a bright idea to get some more.
Yeah.
Buy a torch or two. Do we need any like healing potions? I don't think we have enough money for that, but maybe.
Full disclosure, I mean, obviously, don't let this stop you buying healing potions, but I do have the healing power
Okay.
spell, whichever you prefer.
Well, the specific village you're in does not have an apothecary, but you would be able to, if you wait until the morning, would be able to pick up some basic travel supplies, including like there's basically anything leatherworking they would have, anything like torches, rations, things like that you'd be able to find locally, but otherwise you would need to either look for a traveling merchant or head to one of the larger towns. Where you are situated in Chandra's Haven, you would have to definitely head deeper in. You basically have to go away from your goal to go find a city that would have an apothecary present.
Well,
Probably about a half
scratch that
day's travel.
idea. So the
Yeah.
question is, do we want to stick around until morning to buy some torches and stuff, or do we think time is an issue that we should just go and maybe find a traveling merchant on the way? Maybe steal some from some centaurs.
The Centaur tribes are known to engage in trade with adventurers.
That's good. I think we are fine. I think
Yeah,
we're
let's push on. The more time we spend flittering about with drunken nobles. More time it takes for poor old Jackson to bleed out on the floor.
A astute observation. With that, then, you gather your things and make your way onto the road. The first day of travel is relatively uneventful. Are any of you carrying any sort of rations among your gear?
I have rations. And I learned for quite some time to be self-sufficient. So I have my water, I've got my rations, I got all of that packed up neatly in my backpack. Yeah,
Would you,
carrying no weapons, but just a crowbar for convenience.
of course, would you want to rely on your rations, or would you prefer to see if you can hunt game while you're traveling in order to get food?
I mean, who is cooking in our party?
It's up to y'all. You may even, cook your own meals. It's up to you guys.
Because
It's probably not me, I'll be honest. Quite apart from the fact that, that is beneath me. I don't actually know how to catch my own food. So I've never had to. Just bought food in the past.
I
Oh.
volunteer.
great. Then
Glorious. In that case, Chase, go ahead and give us a survival roll, please. Let's see how good of a hunter Chase is.
Chase after those rabbits.
Excellent.
That is 2.
It's a 4. Your wild die
Oh, I
always
see.
counts. So, just a quick note about Savage Worlds. Any character who is considered a wild card. So this will be your PCs, and this will also be certain star NPCs, sort of the the big bosses, the people who matter among your NPCs. You get what's called a wild die. So every time you roll your skills die type, but you also roll the wild die. You take the higher result. Make sense?
Understood. That it would be a 4 then.
Rock and roll. And a 4 is a success in this system, barring any modifiers. So you are able to kill a deer, which you can strip and get enough food to at least manage the remainder of the journey to the encampment. And now that you have that handy cart, you can carry it as well. So all is well that ends well in that regard.
I like to gather some berries and roots as side dishes, since we're now a rich meat supply.
Sure. Go ahead and make a survival check to do so.
Where is survival? Where do I find it?
If it's not listed on your visible skills on the sheet, that means you would roll it unskilled. But on your sheet, you should have a skills section.
I can't see it right now. I see attributes. I see hindrances, special ability. There's skills. Actually, I don't know how I have survived the wild, but okay. Then I'm gonna roll it unskilled. That's there. Okay.
Not too bad, huh? Not only have you succeeded, but you have gotten a raise. So what raises mean is effectively it is an increase in the performance. If you get a raise in combat, it means that you're more likely to do damage. and you may deal more damage as a result. If you get a raise on a skill check such as this, it means that you've had a wildly successful attempt. Not only are you able to forage up some nuts and berries, but you actually find some wild growing rhubarb and carrots, some very tasty vegetables that you can add into the mix as well. You will be able to live like kings on your way there if you exhaust the supplies, but if you ration these out, this should be sufficient, at least vegetation wise, to get you there and back.
Awesome.
A
Great.
hobbit's tale.
Yeah, precisely that.
All right, we have food.
Rock and roll. You pass the Centaur Borderlands. The majority of it, you manage to get through without really running across much of anyone. You do pass a band of centaurs on the road who simply request your writ of salvage. As long as you provide it without incident, they nod and say, "Move along." Move along.
Unless anyone's taking it from me, I will absolutely present the writ of salvage.
Wonderful. It's really almost these do not seem like they are centaurs who are connected in any way to any sort of official authority, guard position, or government. They just seem to be citizens who were passing by, but they're like, "Hey, you're not centaurs. You got a writ? All right." You know, it's
We need to know if we should cause trouble for you.
right, which is pretty common among the Centaur Borderlands. There are posted guards in places, but technically any Centaur has the right, due to the agreements worked out with Chandra's Haven. Any Centaur has the right to ask for your papers, basically, if they perceive you to be adventurers. Once you get past that, as you're in kind of the last few miles before the river crossing to get out of the haven, traveling along a wooded pathway, you come across what appears to be a fairly vibrant mercantile camp. You see there are several guards gathered around multiple carts, like a caravan. And you see a human woman dressed in kind of the fineries that you would expect from a merchant among the various guards. And as you start approaching, she steps to the edge of the road. "Greetings, adventurers. You look like you're headed to the Gauntlet, yes?"
That is correct.
Wonderful. Might I interest you in a few supplies? This may be your last stop, your last chance. We have just come from the border, and I have not seen any other merchants, and I would just feel terrible if you went into that untamed gauntlet ill-equipped.
I will look to my colleagues who are talking about the need for torches at the very least.
We'll have a look at your wares.
Excellent. As she walks you over and starts walking you through the cart, you see she's got candles. She does mention that any of the carts are for sale, but it seems that you already have that covered. There are sets of flint and steel, healer's kits, mules in case you would like to pick up an additional one to help haul the cart, torches, and a wheelbarrow. In addition, she has various art objects, bric-a-brac, things that you wouldn't necessarily expect for a survival expedition. She seems to. It's pretty easy to tell looking at the carts that she caters to a wide variety of needs and is clearly spinning. Oh, I see your adventure. So you're gonna need the cart, you're gonna need the mule, and you're gonna need the torches and these things. That's kind of where she's focusing your attention. There are some fine silk clothes. There are even a few tapestries and the like among her wares. If any of you is interested in doing so, you are welcome to make a common knowledge or I would say maybe academics check while you're perusing the non-essential wares.
I'll make a common knowledge check.
Excellent. Deck, this stuff all looks kind of pedestrian, nothing important, and a bit puzzling to you as to why or how it would wind up there. Seems like a waste of space in those merchant carts. Chase and Doiron, you both clock pretty easily, based on the condition of these art objects, particularly. The tapestries are a little frayed, a little dusty. The various little small sculptures and bric-a-brac have the occasional chip and nick on them and signs of weathering, of age. You're fairly certain that this is loot that has been brought from the Untamed Gauntlet and was either then purchased by the merchant or used as part of an exchange for things. This is the type of stuff that adventurers will often try to pawn off on traveling merchants, because once you get into Chandra's Haven, unless you have an object of historical significance and you find the right buyer, it's often difficult to unload these kinds of things back in the Haven. The silks, however, you all can tell are just acquired from clothiers and basically kind of the equivalent of off the rack. Is there anything? Okay, go ahead.
Just bring what I noticed to the attention of my allies.
What?
It looks like it's loot.
So, and I hold up a handful of beads that I found. These have been worn before.
Well, yes, most likely. It's secondhand, but it also that raises the question of how far they got into the gauntlet. Maybe they saw Jackson.
Oh yeah, right. That's a good question. You might want to ask that one.
I don't want to talk to these people. I'm not. That's not. I can't. I don't do that. Deck.
I look up from where I am perusing what, it's just, to me, it's a confusing array of random stuff that how did they get all of this? Yes.
There's questions.
There's shit secondhand.
I see. You believe they have journeyed into the gauntlet and recovered it. Or
Right.
may know people who have.
maybe. See, they're better at this than I am.
Last time I talked to somebody, it didn't go too well.
Yeah. See, we think maybe you should
You?
ask that. Yeah, we think you should ask about Jackson. Maybe they saw Jackson.
We are not friends. I have this. Chandra willing. And I will attract the attention of just the nearest person who works for the caravan. It doesn't have to be the merchant. It could be like a guard or whatever, but just the nearest person.
The merchant is sticking relatively close to you all. Not close enough to eavesdrop on your conversation, but close enough to be at the ready if you have any questions. So she is going to step right up when you indicate that you have a question. Meanwhile, what is Doiron doing during all this? Are you huddled up with the rest of the group with this conversation, or are you looking at things separately?
I'm looking at stuff. I'm a curious little spell scorched. I'm just like, ooh, look at this. Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, can I buy this? Oh, I don't think I have enough money.
Yeah,
I just like all the bric-a-bracs.
Sure. That's fair. So you're kind of a little bit off to the side, kind of just browsing.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
I would
Go ahead.
like to go to Doran and show her my now 2 handful of beads,
Oh,
and then what do you think? Which one? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a blue one.
the blue ones are
Blue one.
nice. The green ones
do you
are
think?
also nice. They go well with your
Yeah.
braids.
I
Glorious.
don't know which one to choose.
And while you are comparing beads and considering what might best adorn your fur, Deck, what are you asking the merchant? She has introduced herself as Una, by the way.
Well met, Una. I have the pleasure of being Deck. These are my traveling companions. We are, as you have ascertained, heading deeper into the gauntlet, and it occurs to us that you may have information that we could use. In your travels, gathering these items, have you run across any gnolls? Or people claiming to have been attacked by gnolls, or who have discovered a horde protected by gnolls?
I have not run across any gnolls personally. I stay on this side of the gauntlet. However, about 4, maybe 5 days ago, a group of adventurers badly hurt. In fact, in need of some of my healing kits, had mentioned that they had a run-in with some gnolls. They were returning from an unrelated raid when the gnolls jumped them, and they said they had lost one of their number.
Did they indicate in what direction this was?
Yes. They said that it was just over a half day's journey due east at the river crossing that you'll find in about 2 or 3 miles here.
Fantastic. Friends, we have a heading.
And beads.
You should pay for the beads, and I will give Una like 5 gold for the information.
She says, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. The beads that you are seeking, those are a gold to the handful.
Nice.
Get a whole handful of those.
And
Yeah.
you had needed torches. We are selling them 4 per gold.
Perfect.
Should
One
we grab
each.
some healers kits while we're here? While they're here, that'd be helpful.
Healing
In
kits.
case-
Uh,
Well, Tech, I know that you handle most of our.
you would know I do carry a healing kit as well. They have 5
Gotcha.
uses, I think it is.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. Then
I'm
I
not terribly proficient. Like, I'm skilled at it, but it's only a D4, like above table knowledge.
Dag, I trust you with my life.
As should all right-thinking folk.
yes. I say, thinking of my protection abilities.
The healer's kits are 50 gold each.
Wow.
Hell no.
Burn.
Like,
I'm all for health until I have to pay. What is this, American healthcare? I apologize for that.
Don't. It's true.
Yeah,
Bleeding doesn't sound that bad all of a sudden.
my affinity to not go to the doctor just bleeds into my TTRPG life. I'm so sorry. What's that? 50 gold? Absolutely not. I'll just
No.
die.
So what all would you like to pick up then?
Torches, beads, and apparently some information.
All right.
Is it 4 torches for 1 gold or 1 gold for 4 torches?
It's 1 gold for 4 torches.
Fantastic.
Bargain.
Perfect.
Makes
I
my
will
encumbrance
start
worse, but I'm already
Braiding the
over-encumbered.
beads into Anders's fur.
There and there
And then you can.
and there.
Looks very nice.
Thank you.
Wonderful. You enjoy some sprucing up of Anders's fur with these lovely beads you've acquired. You load up your torches into the cart. And is there anything else before you move along from the merchants?
I
I
will
just realized now we probably could have talked to those adventurers that came back in the village, but whatever. I'm sure they would just be like, "Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't
Bunch of wow-wows.
Half of us got eaten. What shall we do? And I'm like, maybe don't die. Maybe don't get
go.
eaten.
Next time, don't fuck up."
Yes.
Free advice.
Learn magic, basically.
I
Easy.
can do that.
I know. You are amazing.
I go like little sparkles.
I will give them a very long, overblown, and probably unwanted blessing for their journey ahead.
Excellent.
Bye.
They thank you for the blessing and wish you a safe travel. They say, bye, thank you. And you make your way down the trail toward the river crossing. Once you are there, the river crossing on this particular road does not have an actual bridge. There is a downed tree. You can attempt to cross that way. It's going to be a little difficult to get the cart across. Alternatively, there is... You could caulk the cart and try to get it across. Try to float it over.
I'm not sure how we will get the donkey across the tree, so if anybody would like to do that, I mean, sealing the cart and stuff, feel free to do so.
It gets my vote.
All right.
Yeah.
So who would like to attempt... are you all going to try to go across on the cart, or...
I am taking the tree.
You're taking the tree. Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics roll to get across the tree safely.
That's a skill I have.
Excellent. That is a successful roll with your wild die. You scurry across the tree. it becomes very clear to you, like, yeah, this is fine for me, but probably would be a nightmare to try to drag the cart over this thing. Who is going to take point on piloting the cart across the river? This will also be an athletics roll, but it will be made at a -1.
So here's the thing. Unless anyone stops me, Dex Hindrance is arrogant and fully believes they can do it. The downside is that -1 combines with my -2 for being over encumbered because of all the heavy armor. So I basically can't succeed unless
Unless you
the
ace.
dice ace several times. So just gonna put that one out there in case anyone would like to volunteer otherwise.
Chase is gonna be because we need the mules. So Chase is gonna be casting Beast Friend and trying to convince them that everything's gonna be fine. We need to just get across this, and then life's gonna be good.
Excellent. So how many power points does Beast Friend cost?
It just says PowerPoints invested.
Let's see.
Cost is equal to the sum of their size. Minimum 1 per creature.
Yep. So you'll be basically looking at 1.
Cool.
So you only have the 1 mule. You didn't buy a second. So go ahead and spend the 1 power point and make a spellcasting roll.
Understood.
Your spellcasting trait should be set up. I don't know why it's rolling on when you click the Beast Friend thing. You are let me pop up your sheet real quick. That's not what I
All
wanted
this to say that I'm sorry, Deck. I think I'm preoccupied, so I'm hoping for the best for you.
So you will be rolling your faith to cast. Chase.
Gotcha.
Excellent. A successful roll, though you did not ace. Did you have something for Doiron?
Well, my hindrances are cautious and hesitant, both of those things.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh God, I don't know, man. I can help, but
Excellent balance.
my athletics isn't great either. But I'll try my best because we gotta get this cart over the river.
I may have been overthinking this. Like, we have a cart. If I put my shield down and put my torches down, I'm no longer over encumbered. So it's just the -1.
Yep. All right. Yeah, you can set all your stuff in the cart. I mean, you can doff your armor if you want to.
Probably keep the chain on, but I probably wouldn't be wearing the enclosed heavy helm as
Alright.
we're on the road. So I guess add 2 to whatever the result is if I'm doing the athletics check.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll work.
So it is actually 5.
Beautiful. In that case, that is sufficient to get you across. You're able to ford the river with little challenge and hoist the cart back up on the other side. By the time now, what has Anders been doing for the 20 minutes you've waited for them to sort this out?
I was thinking about cheering for them, but then I felt awkward. And I considered going back to carry their stuff, but then they came up with the idea for the with the cart. And then I thought, well, I am already here. I could take some time and just sit down and remind myself of what happened today already and center my mind on what's to come, because it's probably not just drunken people or merchants that I feel awkward around. Soon I will have to take my tasks in this group series, and yeah, so I sit down, meditate, and check in on my inner wells of power.
All right. You do so. You sit down, center yourself, relax, and come out of your meditation as they're sort of resetting on picking up what they need to pick up. So, throwing their shield back on, getting themselves reorganized, getting everything together.
You did great.
Of course I do.
We did.
Did you expect otherwise?
No, just sometimes I think we should say stuff we think, right?
Give you a searching look. It's like, is that a what was the delightful word I heard? Yeah, complisalt. Was that a complisalt?
No.
That's
I-
kind of like the searching look I'm giving. Like I'm trying to figure out if you're trying to insult me or compliment me.
Oh, okay.
Out loud,
Well-
it's just a
And my face is more like very, very here, very now, not going into any social funny ways because that's totally not my department. So probably not an insult.
Fantastic. Well, I could not have made it without Dorian's help, or Chase's help, or the help of Chandra, who, as ever, guides my actions in all things.
Indeed.
Glorious. After paying the appropriate tribute to your goddess, you continue on your path. On this side of the river, there is no set trail. You're effectively going to need to make your way through the wilderness, through various overgrowth. How would you like to go about clearing a path?
If nobody wants to do that, I'd like to go a little bit for scouting.
Sure.
Looking ahead where where hindrances might come into play, where we could end up in trouble with a card where it's an easy passageway. And yeah, I don't want to end up in one of those centaur traps they use for hunting, and they sometimes go for bigger prey. So yeah, also looking out for that one.
Right. Are you attempting to remain stealthy while you are scouting, or are you putting your primary concentration on just seeing what you can see?
So I'm not doing this consciously. I just go ahead, say to the others, I will look for a good path, and then as soon as I'm out of sight, the sneaking comes naturally.
All right.
I've spent very, very much time of my life this way, so it's a habit.
Sure. Let's go ahead then in that case and have you give me first a stealth roll.
Sure thing.
Would I be able to grant any sort of bonus at all?
Do you have any
by-
powers that would do so?
I have environmental protection. Says that this power protects sorry, it says adventurers sometimes travel beneath the waves in space or other hazardous environments. Power protects them from crushing depths, scathing heat, intense cold, and even radiation. Environmental protection allows the target to breathe, speak, and move at his normal pace in an otherwise fatal environment.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily apply here. That would be more for like if you're walking through a burning building.
Gotcha.
Or if
Understood.
you're going underwater, that's where environmental protection would come into play.
Track and all.
Or if the trees were actively like if it was like
Malicious.
razor vine type stuff where like it's,
Gotcha.
that would help, but it's not going to help in this. It is just standard vegetation.
Tracking all.
All right, but that's an excellent question. So yeah, as you all start moving through the space on this side very slowly, Anders just disappears, just fades into the woods.
Oh,
And with your notice check, Anders, you do find a area that has already been somewhat cleared over here. Like it clearly looks like a band of adventurers, probably marching 2 by 2, have cleared a path, probably with like their swords or machetes or something along those lines. It's not quite wide enough for the cart, but with a little bit of work on your part, you should be able to clear that path fairly easily. There, you do not notice any threats or like ambushes or traps or anything like that.
Perfect. Then I shall weave back and forth and giving helpful advice on how to steer the cart in what directions to take.
And is there anything? Oh, I scrolled the wrong thing. Is there anything that Doiron or Deck would like to do during this process while you're moving the cart out of the brush?
I can cast a bolt and, make a path of like energy blasting shit out of the way.
Yeah, if you want to use the PowerPoints to do that, you're absolutely welcome to do so.
How many times would I have to do that, do you think? To
To
move
get-
aside the brush.
To get you clear of the brush area, like completely without having to do anything else, you would probably need to use bolt 3 times.
I'm diggity down for that.
All right.
Poof, poof.
All right. You fire off 3 bolts, clearing a path easily, and are able to navigate the mule and the cart onto that path that Doiron has cleared.
Ta-da.
Once you get to the end of the path, you have. I guess at this point, would you like to press on, or would you like to try to rest up?
Does it look like a safe place to rest?
The immediate area seems to be relatively safe and unhindered.
What say you, companions? Shall we rest here for the night? Shall we push on?
Push on! Jackson! He's dying. We need to save him.
Again, we're going to find him, and he's going to get fired. He might prefer death. Unemployment's horrifying.
Oh, he can get another job. He'll be fine.
I've been not having a job for quite some time, and I think that's preferable to being dead.
Fair
think-
enough. We can press. I'm fine with pressing on. This place is not as scary as they made it out to be.
I think it's perfect and beautiful and on brand that unemployment is one of the horrors we are experiencing in this setting. All right, you continue to press on.
Yep.
Couple hours of relatively uneventful travel into the Untamed Gauntlet brings you about to where you were indicated that the gnolls would be. Once you clear that initial sort of strip of brush and growth, you start to the vegetation starts to fade. Trees being replaced with grasses. In some places, the grasses here grow tall. It even looks, there's even little patches of areas that one might even describe as pristine. However, the landscape is also dotted with areas of yellow dead grass and even dry cracked earth where nothing is currently growing. Looks like it probably hasn't rained here in a while.
Weird.
And sure enough, after about 2.5 hours of travel, you come across an area that is clearly some sort of a construction. These large granite stones are emerging from the earth, clearly carved to look like teeth growing out of a gentle hill. Are you going to attempt to approach it directly, or are you going to aim for a stealthier approach?
Can I roll something to see if I like recognize like who would make such a thing? Like,
Sure. You could roll academics. You could roll common knowledge at a -2. Okay, excellent. You are guessing that these standing stones are probably a site of ancient worship for one of the fallen gods, though only history knows which it might be.
so these have been here for a long time.
Yes, it definitely gives you the appearance of being aged. If they are they look like at one time they may have been carved to look more like slightly more symmetrical, slightly more perfect teeth, but they've certainly been weathered and now look very much like the teeth of someone lacking dental care, since we're continuing our horrors.
Yeah.
Are you relaying that information to the rest of the group?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, let's have a peek first.
All right. Are you going to then try to scout up and ask the rest of the party to wait behind, or are you all going to attempt to sneak up to the place?
Looking at deck.
It's probably a conversation we've had several times before.
Yeah,
It is all right, friend Anders. I shall wait here.
great. Anyone cares to accompany me?
Yeah, I'll come too. I'm not great at stealth, but I'm okay.
All right. I would like those of you who are going up the hill to give me a stealth check and a notice check. Excellent. Wow. Well, Anders is definitely noticing everything.
Damn. Wow.
And Doiron is absolutely being sneaky. So let's see what we're coping with here. All right. Remarkably, these creatures do not seem to notice you at all. But you do see there are 3 hyenas and a gnoll sort of posted up around what looks to be a hole in the ground, at least to Doiron. Now, Anders, you can tell based on the slight sort of raise in the ground around this hole, this is probably a stairway, leads downward. You can also hear voices that seem to be perhaps echoing from a chamber down there, extremely faintly, but you can clock it. Lastly, you can tell with your remarkable perceptions that the gnoll is armed with a short bow and a flail. They're currently carrying 11 arrows. You can tell that they are well fed and well rested. And you can tell that the hyenas also appear to be in pretty good shape. They seem to be well fed. They seem to be well taken care of.
Okay. So, gnolls are sentient beings, right?
Gnolls are sentient beings.
Okay. I make signs towards Doran. Have seen everything, can return. How about you?
Yeah, let's go back and inform the group.
Perfect. Okay. We return, share our findings, and then, well, we haven't discussed this earlier, but how are we going to approach the thing? If we play our cards right, we definitely have the upper hand. But I don't know, do we want to like talk with them and get the stick this way?
Yeah, we should probably either take them out real quick or lure them over here because we don't want everybody down there to know that we're here.
Are gnolls, in my experience, evil creatures? Travis.
Why don't you go ahead and roll? It would be your choice of if you have academics, occult, or survival. Any of those that you prefer.
Survival's the only one I have that's not unskilled, so guess which I'm picking.
Excellent. Common knowledge would also be acceptable.
Oh, it's a D4 for me. Both with D4s. Wild die is a 5, so.
Yep. So, in your experience, gnolls tend to be individually, I guess it tends to depend on the pack, particularly on the leader of the pack. Some gnolls gather in packs whose entire purpose is to find a safe place and to hunt, gather food, and defend their den and just eke out their little chunk of the world and keep everyone away from it. Those are probably the most sociable gnolls that you're aware of, at least native to the Untamed Gauntlet. You've heard rumors of entire gnoll cultures in distant lands.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to check because of.
You do know that there are several gnoll packs that are led by spellcasters, warlocks. They tend to worship Ragnar. They tend to be more violent, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, so one of my other hindrances is heroic. So I have to follow what to me is the most heroic course of action, and right now it's not attack Gnolls who could be just trying to eke out the best existence they can here. So I look extremely uncomfortable from where I'm just standing by the cart. If we have no guarantee these Gnolls are involved, they may have information. They may be willing to trade for it.
Fine.
We want to go down and talk to them then.
That would be my preferred option. Yes.
Yeah, we can start with this one guy. 'Cause there's only one, and he's got pets. Do we know that Gnolls hang out with hyenas? Didn't have them as pets and stuff?
Certainly Deck could tell you if the rest of you aren't aware of it. I mean, it would be a pretty simple common knowledge check to know that they tend to domesticate hyenas.
Cute.
Cool. So your plan then is to send an emissary to go talk to them, or are you all going to approach to do so?
Not it.
I just shrug. The chain armor, the mail clinking loudly. I shall go.
Deck,
I
I'll go.
will back you up.
Yeah, I'll go with you, Deck. I don't. I just want you. The armor comes off as a little bit of an intimidation tactic. You look tough and threatening, and
I am
know?
tough and threatening.
that's all right. I'll follow behind you.
And
To
I'll wait
alleviate
back here. I
alleviate
will
it.
ready
Oh,
a spell.
all
Just in
right,
case.
what spell would you like to have readied?
I will ready protection to cast on both of them.
Beautiful. Well, in that case, I'm sorry, I knocked some stuff over. In that case, you have protection readied, and the rest of you are getting ready to head up to the top of the hill to see how that goes. I think that's a beautiful place for us to go ahead and take our biological and technological break. So if you'll bear with us, we will be back momentarily. While you're waiting for us to return, I would highly recommend you hit the pinned link in the chat, head over to the Kickstarter, and throw a few bucks over at Bizarre Kingdoms. I would greatly and deeply appreciate any support you could talk yourself into giving me. You can get access to the PDF and the backer updates as little as $5. And we have a ton of add-ons. If you didn't get a chance to pick up Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition yet, you can add on all of that material. You can add on my other Savage Worlds games, Contagion, Savage Adventures, Citizens Divided. All that stuff is up there. So thank you all so much for being here and hanging out. We will be back momentarily. everybody, and welcome back to the Plastic Age Plays Twitch. I really almost said Onyx Path. You can tell where I spend most of my time. So if you're just joining us, the party has taken a job from a fence, wild folk fence by the name of Lita, to head into the Untamed Gauntlet and retrieve a rod of cancellation that was lost by a previous expedition, along with the member of the expedition who was carrying that rod, a man by the name of Jackson Steinholt. Now, if Jackson is brought back dead or alive, Lita doesn't care, and it is the same price. You get the same amount. So just be aware of that. But the party has made their way through the Centaur borderlands, across the river, into the Untamed Gauntlet, and made their way to what appears to be the Gnoll encampment, set in what was perhaps an ancient temple dedicated to the worship of one of the original older gods. They've done some reconnaissance, and thanks to their amazing stealthy performances, have so far gone unnoticed by the Gnoll and his hyena companions. But now, while Anders lays in wait, ready to pounce if need be, the rest of the group are getting prepared to go attempt to parley with the Gnolls.
Except for me.
And what is it that you were doing? I'm sorry? You were
I'm readying protection. I'm hanging back.
okay. And are you readying protection to cast on yourself or to cast on someone else?
On them.
All right. What's the range on protection? Because I think you might need to be fairly close. I could very well be wrong though.
Small.
Oh, it's SM. That's
Yeah.
smarts.
Oh.
So at smarts range, that means you can basically get 1 inch. I believe it's 1 inch. Let me triple check, make sure I'm not talking out of my tailpipe. I would feel very bad if I robbed you of range. So let's see here. 1 second. Allow me to double check a rule that you'd think I'd know off the top of my head, and yet. Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's 1 inch, 1 inch per, and basically our squares are 1 inch. So what's your smarts die?
Eight.
All right. So you have to stay within 8 squares of them to be able to cast it.
Okay.
And then of course have line of sight. So you have to be able to see them. But you got protection ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I'll sneak behind this tooth.
All right. And if the rest of you would like to go ahead and move your tokens as to where you would like to go, that would be just hunky-dory for me.
I'm not trying to hide, so I'm just walking straight up the middle. So I'll just stop wherever, like at the first square that the Gnoll notices me.
All right. The Gnoll turns to face you and draws an arrow.
Oh, how rude.
I guess for the sake of narrative and everyone's like, visual information, in an effort to be as unintimidating as possible, I've got my mace hanging from the frog at my waist. I've got my helmet kind of just hanging off of it. Shield in one hand, but my weapon hand is empty. Well met, friend. We wish you no harm.
The Gnoll, through gritted teeth, says, "Trespass."
Oh, he's giving you permission to trespass.
We are
Uh,
simply travelers.
Absolutely keeping his arrow knocked, by the way.
I figured. We are simply travelers looking to reclaim one of our own.
Prisoner.
Oh, you have him. Fantastic. Could you let him out, please? I'm happy to enter into some kind of exchange. I
He looks around, sniffs. No trade.
was really hoping that you'd be open to trade. Because now I'm conflicted. On the one hand, I've been paid to rescue this man. On the other hand, you has as of yet offered me no reason to offer violence unto you.
Can I try something stupid and silly?
Oh, by all means, please do.
Can I cast shape change? Uh, and change into a hyena?
Theoretically, let's see. I'm looking up the chart to see what that costs.
Entirely unrelated, but I've stuff to fiddle with on my computer desk. One of which is genuinely a miniature of a hyena,
Nice.
I love that so
Which is-
much.
invisible. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, what was that? I thought you were saying something, Bliss. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I said,
Okay, so hyenas are size -1, so your PowerPoint cost would be 3, and absolutely you can shape change into a hyena.
Sweet. I would love to do so. Um, and then kind of have they seen me at all? Given the map, is this higher stones? Would I have been visible to the gnolls?
You certainly can. I have no objection with you shape changing before you enter their line of sight.
Sweet. I would love to do that and then just kind of slink up to Deck's side and be real protective and like nuzzly, like try to be like, look, we're just like you. He has or they have a hyena friend as well.
The hyenas start moving in a touch
fuck,
closer,
okay.
like, oh, friend.
and they're kind of sniffing you out.
I've done my best, Deck. It's up to you.
Well, let's see how well you did. Why don't you go ahead and roll me your faith, because that is your casting ability.
Gotcha.
And curse me saying, oh, sorry.
Oh, is it me or Deck?
Oh no, you're casting the shape change, so you need to roll your faith.
Oh, all right, that's a 2.
All right, now you do have what are called bennies, and all of your wild cards start with with 3 bennies. You may spend a benny to re-roll a failed die. If you would like to do so, you may do so.
I would absolutely love to. How do?
So if you look on your character sheet, you should have, I believe, yes, up top, next to where it lists your size, you should have bennies, and there should be 3 listed.
Gotcha.
If you have your padlock unlocked, your bennies are much harder to find. Let's see.
So I've relocked it and found them. So just hit the reroll button through the.
Yep, hit the reroll button in the chat and then mark down 1 spent benny.
Oh,
That
that's
is
much better. That is
much
14.
better. So not only do you successfully assume the shape of the hyena, but you assume its odor, you assume its mannerisms. The other hyenas are completely convinced that you are one of their own. And of course, this hyena walks up to you, Deck.
I We're established. I know roughly what Chase can do, magically speaking. So there is obviously a moment of where did this hyena come from, and then I put 2 and 2 together and arrive at 4 after a circuitous route. In the absence of any other hyenas being outside this ring of teeth stones, at the very least.
Yeah, you certainly don't see any others. The gnoll slightly like releases tension a bit on the arrow, like it's still held, but it's not fully extended. Now, if you'd like, I would allow you, Deck, to go ahead and make a persuasion roll to try to convince this hyena that maybe listening to you, maybe they should reconsider their position.
Absolutely take you up on that offer. Okay. Hopefully that. I mean, I know it's target number 4, so hopefully that succeeds.
That is a success. He says, "Must consult master."
By all means, please. I'm happy to wait here. I will not step any closer to your abode.
He turns to the nearest hyena and says, "Guard." And the hyenas all like fronts go down, tails come up.
I kneel, making it very very plain that I have no intention to move.
All right, and he walks down the stairs. He's down there for about 2 minutes. Is there anything that you all would like to do in that 2 minutes?
How fast do I get over these teeth, theoretically?
The teeth are... Let's see. They stick out about roughly 10 feet, so roughly 2 inches basically of movement into the air. So what is your... You'd need to make an athletics check to get over it.
Okay. But I could get over the teeth and then do whatever shenanigan I would want to do in close combat.
Yeah, if you made your athletics check, you could basically leap off of it. Your ability to immediately attack that next turn, you'd basically have to make your attack the following turn, because your action would be climbing. Now you can go ahead and climb it so that you're ready to jump from the back end right now if you want to.
Yeah, if I could stay hidden still.
Yeah, absolutely.
This would be
I'll
great.
I'll let you shimmy up the back and you with the stealth roll you got, you can shimmy up the back and stay hidden. Just as long as you don't screw up your athletics check. So go ahead and make an athletics check for me if you don't mind.
Here we are.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
5.
Yep, you're up top. Good to
Perfect.
go. Anything that Deck is going to do during these 2 minutes of waiting?
I guess I would lift my hammer off the mace so that if things do go south, the mace is easier to access. But I just put the helmet on the ground in front of me. I'm not going to look like I'm picking a fight with them because again, up to now they've done nothing to warrant violence. I'm just ready for it if it should happen.
Sure. Doiron, are you still just hanging on to that prepared spell?
Yeah, I'm also gonna like stage whisper, "This is stupid. He's going to bring back every single motherfucker down there and they're going to kill us."
All right.
It's just like out of the side of my mouth. I'm not disagreeing. I'm simply trying a better path first.
And
Better. Interesting way to put it.
and is there anything else that Chase is doing during these 2 minutes?
Chase is a hyena and just faithfully sitting by Deck's side.
All right. Your 2 minutes pass. As they do, the hyena reemerges with 2 creatures in tow. You see the hyena, the gnoll emerges, forgive me, with 2 creatures in tow. You see a small, what, as near as you can tell, is a house cat. Though fairly large for a house cat, but small compared to the rest of the creatures. And then a second gnoll. And this gnoll is dressed in a lengthy patchwork robe. They seem to have various trinkets and trophies sort of stitched onto or tied onto the robe, sort of seemingly randomly positioning. He snarls as he steps up top.
I would stand as they appear at the top of the steps. Someone with the authority to treat with me?
He says, "This is my camp."
As I informed your subordinate, we have been engaged to retrieve a human. He may be here, and I would very much appreciate it if you could see your way to allowing us to take him and his belongings back with us out of the gauntlet.
The human is tradable. His possessions are not.
Is there anything I could say that could persuade you otherwise? I will admit that the emphasis, regrettably, was rather more on his possessions than his life.
He looks around.
But I will take anything you are generous enough to offer.
You are smart. Smart enough to bring friends and wait. He sort of indicates looking over his shoulder in the direction where Anders is hiding.
It would do me no good to assume that you are not as equally as intelligent as I and as open to negotiation. That would be ruinous for all parties involved.
Have you items of magic?
Regrettably, I do not. I have magic myself, but I'm yet to make as firm a mark on the world as much more experienced adventurers who do possess such items have.
Then no trade. Leave this place in peace while you can.
That's the point where, like, everyone else who could see Deck is like, could tell that I'm just going to turn around and leave because this crisis of conflict, a crisis of faith. Like, I have to be heroic, but equally, they've done nothing to offer violence right now.
Should have prepared Bolt instead.
You can swap your preparation. You haven't actually cast anything.
Right. I think I will. I think I'm gonna step out and be like, ha, motherfucker. Yeah, like as I see you turning away, I'm gonna be like, all right, nope, time's up.
Deck, what the fuck?
All
Blast.
right. Who are you blasting?
I'm
So
gonna
anyway, I
blast.
started blasting.
Yep, exactly. I'm gonna come in blasting. Actually, yeah, I am gonna blast, not bolt. In the general right here area.
Oh, excellent. So you're using blast rather than bolt.
Indeed.
And what is the just looking that up real quick. What type of blast would you like to unleash? What is the trapping? What does it look like?
I think I'm gonna pull a little piece of brimstone out of my pocket, sniff it, gag a little bit, and then blow it off into a big old fireball.
Excellent. And
It is a large blast. Oh wait, it's a
medium blast template.
medium, unless I want to add more.
Yeah, do you want to spend any additional power points? So it's going to cost 3 power points to kick it off. You can add an additional power point to make it a large blast template, or you can focus it down to a small blast template for 0 power points. You can also spend up to 2 additional. You can spend 2 additional power points to increase the damage as well.
How big an area are we talking right now as far as how many it will hit for medium?
So a medium blast template is up to, let's see, 1 second. Eight yards across. A large is 12 yards across, so basically inches. So just to give
Not
you
as big.
an example, 1, 2. So that would be, can you see the line there?
Yeah.
That's the length of a medium blast. That's the length of a large.
All right. I think if I put it right in the center, I should probably be able to hit all of them.
Yeah, I would say so. All
Yep. All right. Let's do that. And I will
right, so
just do regular.
what is your spell casting ability?
I don't know. Where does it say that?
It should be in your skills. You should have spell. It would be like spell casting or faith or.
I got spell casting at a D8.
All right, so go ahead and roll that spell casting.
Boom. Aw.
That is a successful cast. However,
Okay.
you still can spend a Benny if you want to try to aim for a higher
Sure.
success.
Let's do it.
All right, still
Better.
Well, you're still at a 5 because your wild die counts. But so that will mean that each of the folks here is going to be suffering 3d6 damage. So go ahead and roll 3d6. You should be able to do that, if nothing else, with the little dice roller.
Let's see if this works.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was... So you'd actually hit the roll damage.
Oh, that was
button.
just my spell casting thing. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, if you hit the roll damage, it should drop.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you're at 6. There was no raises or bonus damages, so you just will be dealing the 6. I just need to check a couple things real quick. All right, the Gnoll is fine. The Gnoll Warlock is fine. The hyenas, however, are going to need to make a vigor check. Excellent. The hyenas also manage to avoid taking a wound. This, my friends, is going to take us into combat. So I'm going to set up our turn order. We will add turns for all characters, and then I'm going to deal out our action cards. Excellent. And then we will sort those descending. The first action will actually go. I don't know why it sorted that's that way. That's weird.
I am missing.
Oh, because I didn't grab you in the thing. Hold on.
Too sneaky.
I'm hiding in the book.
There we go. That's better.
Oh no, the Gnoll got the Joker.
Yep. So our first action is going to go, because this is sorting our turn orders odd. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. First action is going to go to the cat familiar. I forgot to roll for the cat familiar, who might have actually gotten toasted. Hold on.
No, not the cat.
It had to be a cat. I don't want to toast a cat.
Oh, that poor cat.
Oh,
The poor cat is, you hear like, "Rah!" And the cat catches fire and runs, falls more down the stairs.
oh,
Oh no.
poor kitty.
That then will bring us to Doran. It is your action. What would you like to do?
Now I will cast protection on my two little buddies next to me.
All right. You may do so. So, in order to cast protection, you'll make your spell casting roll. If you want to cast it on multiple targets,
Yeah, I think it's one extra power point per person.
yep. All right, and that is a successful roll, but not a raise. So that means our hyena friend and Deck give you each gain an additional 2 points of armor. And what does this appear like when you cast it?
Let's see. I will, move my hands around like this, creating a big old ball of energy and like push it onto them, and it moves really slowly. And then once it hits them, it goes foomp into a basically transparent plastic shell that sticks upon them like one of those creepy masks.
Excellent. I love it. And are you engaging any movement, or is that the completion of your turn?
I will scoot behind a tooth.
All right. Excellent. That will bring us to our Gnoll. Our Gnoll that has been kind of, engaging is going to now step forward. They're going to move the 2 inches, and they're going to take a shot at Deck with their bow and arrow.
My parry is 7.
Excellent. But this is a ranged attack. I don't believe parry comes into play.
I do have cover for my shield, though.
You do
I
have
believe.
cover. What kind of shield are you wielding?
I think it's a medium shield. Yeah, it's a medium shield, so it's what, -2, I think.
I believe that is accurate. Should be on your...
Yes, -2 cover.
Yep. All right. So that brings them down to a 1. They fire and it bounces harmlessly off your shield. Deck, it is your action. What would you like to do?
I give a nod of thanks to Doran for the spell of protection. As my allies aid me, Chandra, I call upon you. I'm just going to cast Havoc, but its trapping will be that of a small meteor slamming into the ground, where the medium template will get all of the gnolls and hyenas, but none of my allies.
Sure, you drop it right here. Go ahead and give me that faith roll, please.
Uh,
All right, that is success and a raise. Excellent. So now with a raise, Havoc, I believe, deals an extra die of damage.
If they get thrown into a solid object, they take damage. It doesn't actually mention anything about a raise. Oh yes, -2 if the caster got a raise. So they're distracted and they must make a strength roll at -2 because they got a raise.
Okay,
So
excellent.
does that stack to be -4 from distracted? It's -2.
Distracted, I think, only applies to. Does this distracted apply to all checks? Let me check here.
From all trait rolls until the end of next turn.
Yep. So yeah, so it'd be -4.
Those who fail are hurled 2d6 inches directly away from the center of the template. I wish I'd gone with a cone. Whoops.
All right, so they actually need to make it at yeah, so -4. So I'll make those checks real quick. I'm just going to do group checks for the hyenas. Who I keep accidentally closing their character sheets because I'm Egypt. All right, so
We've all been there with Roll20.
no, they don't do so hot at all.
Oh dear.
In fact, they are flung 2. So that one is going to hit something. 1, 2. That one's going to hit something. 1, 2. That one's going to not hit something. So go ahead and roll 2d4 for me, please, if you don't mind.
2d4. 7.
All right, let's see if that is enough to render our hyena friends very sleepy.
Yes, it's non-lethal unless it's a spiked wall or other more dangerous hazard. So I'm assuming non-lethal damage here.
Absolutely not lethal. Fortunately for them, they take it. They are not wounded and not knocked unconscious. Our Gnoll Warlock is blasted back here, and this Gnoll, we'll say, is blasted back here. Excellent. So now they're distracted. They have to make a strength roll at -4. Oh no, they failed their strength roll. Okay. But they're distracted until the end of this turn. So the Gnoll Warlock is still going to attempt to cast, but he's going to do so at a -2 because he's distracted, right? Right.
That I believe is yes. Yeah, if distracted lasts until the end of their turn, then yeah.
Right. And is there any other action, movement, anything else that Deck is doing before the end of Deck's turn?
No, I'm just going to ready myself in this choke point.
All right, beautiful. The Gnoll Warlock is going to attempt to cast Fear on Deck. Ugh. Oh, it rolled unskilled for some reason. That's why. What the Hades? All right. How about we try that with your actual spellcasting ability? All right, so the 5, 4, 3. Nope, they fail to do so. You see them trying to pull together some magic, and it just fizzles out. No luck. That will then bring us to our hyenas. They are going to rush forth. They're obviously going to hit that choke point, because where else are they going to go?
This is either going to be really cool or a terrible idea.
Their pace is 8, so they can all clearly make it to you. So they're going to run up on you. Now, they are distracted. However, they also have pack tactics. And so the pack tactics gets to add their gang up bonus to fighting damage as well as their attack roll. The gang up bonus for 3 of them. Sorry, audience, for the error noise that was just made. Okay, so it's just a +1 for each additional. So the one that's
Cancels that.
Yeah,
Cancels out
basically.
the distracted.
Right. So basically, they'll just make a straight fighting check to try to bite you. That is a 3. That is clearly not enough to defeat your parry of 7. So they bite at you and bounce off of your shield with no harm whatsoever. That brings us to Chase. What you got?
I think I have to rely on you for a lot of this. I'm still in hyena form, so I'm gonna strike as such.
Yeah, it's not going to affect your fighting skill.
Cool, cool, cool. I will strike at the nearest one. Whatever one is closest to deck.
All right, so you're going to kind of rush up and try to move. Now, are you going to let them past deck? Or are you like clear the bottleneck long enough for Chase to get past?
Yeah. Where would I need to be standing in order to
You basically need to be in the space the deck is in, or rush past it and try to tackle that knoll.
Gotcha. I will be right here if that's all right.
Yeah,
Yes.
as long as deck doesn't mind letting you by.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
All right, rock and roll.
Excellent.
Go ahead and make that fighting check, please.
Yep. 6.
Nice. That will absolutely, I do believe, hit our good friend the hyena, who has a parry of 5. So go ahead and roll.
That was a faith check.
Oh, that was a faith check. Roll
Not to
fighting.
be that person, but I don't know if that changes your
I
die
apologize.
size any.
Yeah, I apologize.
All good.
It's a 4.
That will not hit. Would you like to drop a Benny?
I would love to,
All
yes.
right, go for it.
So I will take that and also still a 4. All right.
You hopped in. You did your best.
Yes.
You and the hyena are locked up. That then will bring us around to Anders. What you got?
Well, casting protection does take a turn, right?
It does.
Then I'll be doing a very boring turn in cast protection.
All right. Go ahead and make your spellcasting roll. For you, I believe it is. Yeah. Holy bejibbities. So that's this is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So that's 4 raises. When you get raises on protection, your armor is a +4. Yeah, it doesn't go any higher, unfortunately, with higher raises. But you get +4 to your armor.
I'm very happy with taking this. So, I am observing what's going on, and from the moment that Doran appeared inside of in clear sight, I knew what was happening. And after that, basically everyone fell into their rhythm.
Sure.
And I am aligning myself with this, and I'm breathing the air, the atmosphere right now, and I see the things that the null sorcerer is doing, and I am I am watching him, and I'm watching him very well. And then I take notice of what the null is doing that we had the conversation with earlier. And then I am ready to jump, as I am fully aware of what's going on, and I am sure that I won't be hit. And then I wait
Beautiful.
my turn.
Beautiful. I love it. That brings us around to Doiron. What would you like to do? Now, you are basically behind full cover behind that tooth right now. You can stick your head out and shoot around it and pop back up if you wish, or you can try to dive into the fray.
I'm gonna pop around here in between these two teethers, and I'm going to bolt the shaman.
Glorious. All right. Go ahead and give me that spellcasting roll, please. Nice. It's a hit. It's not quite a raise, but that's okay. Go ahead and roll your damage for bolt. Good
There.
God. Oh, no, that was your.
Yeah, that
cast.
was the. Sorry, I need to click that next time instead of just spell casting.
Good God, anyway. Because
Yeah.
you got a 14. Holy crap. So let's see how well our Null Warlock deals with that.
Not well.
Probably not, no. Their toughness is a 6, so and their vigor is 5, so that makes it for 11. So that still is a wound on our Null Warlock. Oh, actually, and he hasn't. Oh, it was till the end of his turn. Okay, yeah, not the beginning. So the distraction doesn't apply. So it's still just one wound. And he is shaken. All right. That means things go around to our Knoll friend here, who's going to now try to take a shot at the hyena who is dove in among the pack. And he says, "Leave my friends alone," and fires. So that is a 5 to hit. Your parry is what?
5.
All right, excellent. So that equals, so that hits. He will roll the damage on the short bow. What's your toughness?
Toughness is. So I have an 8 and then a 2 in parentheses.
2's the armor, so
Gotcha.
you'd be at 6 plus 4 from the protection spell. So yeah, the arrow bounces off harmlessly. Deck, what you got?
I have a mace, is what I've got. And I would very much like to swing it quite hard at the hyena in front of me. Which I realize I encouraged closer to me with my spell, but it's heroic. Why not? So I assume it's just a fighting roll.
Yep, just straight fighting.
Yeah, 0. Oh, no, well, die 5.
Yep. That is a hit. You can, or well, at least it's not a failed roll. You can Benny if you want to see if you get better.
No, I'll keep the 5. I'm at -2 because I'm over encumbered with all my armor.
Sure.
So
Um,
I'm not going to get raises that often.
So swiping at the hyena, remarkably, that still does hit. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Clicking that button. There we go.
Nice.
8.
Not too bad. They will make a vigor, which they botch. So
Oh,
you hit
I'm
this.
sorry. I'm sorry. That was an attack roll, not
Oh,
damage.
sorry. Go ahead and roll damage anyway.
I clicked the wrong thing. 15.
Oh yeah, even better. So you swipe, you hit this hyena, and they're thrown over your ally and over Chase and hit the stairs and then roll down the stairs.
Fantastic. I will step forwards into the space they've colloquially just vacated.
Beautiful. And that will bring us to our Gnoll Warlock, who is no longer distracted and is now going to attempt to use the Evil Eye, I believe. Let's see.
Does he have to unshake himself?
He does have to roll to unshake. Thank you. He fails. He is attempting to pull his head together and just can't quite make the magic work. That brings us to our hyenas. We have one. They're not able to benefit from their pack tactics anymore. So one is going to attempt to attack Chase. One is going to attempt to attack Deck. So we got on Chase a 2. I assume that doesn't hit you.
It does not.
And on Deck, they bite at you, and they bite into your shield so hard that it breaks their teeth out, and they pass out from the pain.
Oof.
Oh,
Chandra protects.
Excellent. That then brings us to Chase. What would you like to do?
If I might, am I able to make it to the warlock from here?
Yeah, a hyena's got a pace of 8, so you have 8 squares of movement.
Gotcha. Sweet. I'm gonna. Where's he? Where'd he go? He's right here. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Right.
Yep.
Seeing him as the larger problem, I'll rush up to him and second verse same as the first. Where'd my fight go? Hello? There it is. All right, that is a 3.
You want to try to drop a Benny?
Yeah, last one.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Roll 20 hates you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's normal.
You start snapping at him, and definitely he's barely able to defend himself, given as discombobulated as he is, but he is able to defend himself. However, I don't suspect that's going to last much longer, because Anders, it is your action. What would you like to do?
well, we are doing great if we are working together. So, I am very happy that we are shooting for the same target. So, another deep breath, and then I'm getting up. I am running across the next stone tooth. Then I'm jumping down, landing behind the warlock, and giving him a very, very nice and kind punch into the back. And as I do this, I am concentrating on the power that resides within me, and I'm sending a blast into his body to bring him out of balance. And I basically want to cast a spell.
Sure. What spell would you like to lean on?
It's called Confusion, if I'm not wrong.
Excellent.
It is Confusion.
Yep. Go ahead and roll your animism.
It's a 5.
That is a success. with the confusion spell. Let me just double triple check here. So that costs you 1 power point until the end of the victim's next turn. They're confound. They become distracted and vulnerable if they fail a smarts roll. So let's see how he does on his smarts roll. Yep, they absolutely are distracted, vulnerable, and shaken. Good lord.
You are welcome.
You hit him, and he's like, he's definitely doing like the, the finish him sway. And that will bring us around to Doiron. What you got?
Get him.
Am I gonna hit Chase if I bolt from here?
If you bolt, no, you can bolt. Because bolt's one target.
Haha. All right. I'm going to attempt to finish him.
All right. So actions and attacks against this target are made at +2 until the end of the next turn.
Boo.
All right. So that's a 9. So that also counts as a raise. So go ahead and roll damage. All right. So that's 8. Toughness is less than. Vigor's at -2. All right. So they do not suffer a further wound at this point. But you do hit them square in the chest with that bolt. That brings us to our remaining gnoll. Our remaining gnoll is going to move. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're going to lock up with Deck. They know they have to do that in order to get to the other. To the spellcaster. So this gnoll is dropping their bow and arrow. And they're going to swap to their flail. That is a 4 to hit. I assume your parry is higher than 4, Deck?
My power is 7.
Yep. Their flail bounces impotently off of your shield, leading it to your turn.
I would like to return their flail with a mace strike.
Excellent.
Taking full advantage. Oh, maybe not. You know what? I'm going to spend a penny on that.
Go for it.
Nope. Well, it's better, I guess.
Yeah, better performance, but still not great. You bring.
I'm just going to trade ineffectual blows.
You bring the mace down, and he deftly ducks to the side. That brings us back around to our warlock. Our warlock is going to attempt to unshake. Let's see how that goes for him. Excellent. The warlock has unshaken.
Aww.
We'll check this, see if they want to use this. All right. Nah, they're not going to use that. Doesn't do what I thought it did. In this case, they're just going to use fear, and they're going to target. Let's see. They're going to spend an extra 3 power points to kick it off on a large blast template. They're going to center that large blast template here. So we've got... All right, not quite enough to catch deck in it. So... that is a 10. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not shaking anymore. That is a 10. That is a hit with 1 raise. I need all of you who are affected. So that would be Anders and Chase to make a spirit roll, please, at -2. Excellent.
Yeah.
Would
how about
either
no?
would either of you like to spend a Benny to reroll that?
I am happy to do so.
I'm out.
Okay.
All right, you're out. All right, excellent. So Anders, you shake off the fear effect. However, I am going to need a roll on the fear table from Chase, and that's going to be a D20 roll, please.
Understood. That is a 20. Thank you, Roll20. I appreciate you.
Wow. You gain the major phobia hindrance. You are now afraid of gnolls.
Oh, shit. Honestly, fair.
All right. That brings us back to Chase. What would you like to do now that you are terrified of gnolls?
The logical explanation is to just eliminate the gnolls. Can't be afraid of something it does if it doesn't exist anymore. Am I able to still fight, or do I? Am I like
yes, you just
compelled
subtract a 2 from all of your rolls.
rough, very rough. I will second first same as the first. We're gonna go for the warlock.
All right.
That is a 2.
All right. You overcoming your horrendous fear, you take a bite at the warlock, and it cackles at your poor performance. That hyena is still up, and it's going to try to attack Deck. It's going to try a bite. Horrible performance. No good. Fails miserably to attempt to attack Deck. And that brings us to Anders. What would you like to do?
Well, I fear that this creep is trying to entering my mind. And I'm not having that. I'm taking the force of his will, and I'm channeling it back as I give him a smacking to the back of his head, and I'm going to cast a stun on the warlock.
Excellent.
Doop de doop de doop. I hit this button, and magic happens.
Beautiful. All right. So that was a stun check. And it was stun as effectively the power you're using, correct?
Yes, I am trying to find out how much I have to spend on this spell.
Costs 2 power points.
2 power points. Okay.
So they must make a vigor roll at -2.
Yeah.
And they absolutely do not make that roll.
Yes.
They are stunned.
Go to sleep.
And I just noticed we are at 10 till. Clearly, this battle is going in the favor of our adventurers. With the Gnoll Warlock stunned, it is no matter for Doiron to fire off one more blast and knock him unconscious. At which point the remaining, I should say, Gnoll, drops his flail and says, "Mercy, mercy!"
I respect that as the person closest. I lower my mace.
He says, "I will return your friend and your objects and your baubles. Merely let me and my pack live."
I nod. Do it.
He runs downstairs. About a minute and a half later, a human comes stumbling out of the stairwell. He has been clearly not fed, clearly not cared for in any way. His wounds haven't even been dressed. But he is carrying a sack over one shoulder that ostensibly is filled with whatever adventuring gear he had. He's just wearing like a tunic, basically. And in the other hand, the rod of cancellation that you were sent to acquire.
Jackson?
He nods.
Fantastic. Your faith and hope was not misplaced, Doran. And I will offer him, as you know, to walk away, I'll offer him a water, my canteen.
He drinks the water rushing over his clearly chapped and broken lips as you all make your way back to Chandra's Haven to return Jackson, return to Lita's hut, and claim the remainder of your payment. And that, my friends, is where we will wrap up this session of Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition. Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns from the players?
Which one of us gonna break it to him that he's fired along the way?
That is not a heroic thing to do to someone you've just rescued, so not me.
Bad news, buddy.
I mean, you could, or you could wait. That's an option.
That's not my job, and he is not my friend. I'm checking in with Chase. If he is doing fine with the fuckery that the Gnoll did to us, but
perhaps after a few advances and some therapy, he will be better. So that was the Lair of the Gluttonous Gnolls. That is the jumpstart for Odysseys and Overlords 2nd Edition. It is not only is it available on Drive-Thru RPG, but it is also available as an add-on at the Bizarre Kingdoms Kickstarter. I'm going to throw that link in the chat one more time, and then we'll go ahead and say our goodbyes. Thank you so much to my players who have awesomely joined us for this game, did a wonderful job, and I had a great deal of fun playing with y'all. So let's have you go ahead and do your outros. We'll start with Ryan. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you are playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would like to promote.
Yeah. So I'm Ryan. My pronouns are they, them. I was playing Deck. Their pronouns are they, he. And I think I got a decent mix of they, he throughout. I'm primarily a content creator here on Twitch and a writer of tabletop role-playing games. And you can find me on Blue Sky at comradebubbles.bsky.social, on Twitch at twitch.tv/comradebubbles.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I will shout out your Twitch channel.
Thank you for inviting me.
Anytime. Always welcome on the channel. Next, that brings us around to Tom. Your pertinence, please.
thank you. I am Tom Moore. You can find me on socials as Tom Moore, or with the additive 2 at the end of that name. I'm a professional GM over at startplaying.games, and I just set up a session of Learn to Play Curseborn for Onyx Path game night next week, Friday evening. So that's something that's coming. And something I forgot to tell from time to time is that I'm also translating RPGs. Like I did the Cyberpunk starter box and the 2 code scenarios with Trent Games. So yeah, that's also something that I'm doing.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Definitely sign up for Tom's Curseborn actual play. That should be a lot of fun. And if you're a German speaker, check out those translations. Next up, that brings us around to Bliss. Your pertinence, please.
So I am Bliss, pronounced she, her. I was playing Doirin, also pronounced she, her. You can find me on Twitter at BlissSteel. I play mostly video games on spicy sites and sometimes role-playing games, including the spicy role-playing game Loot the Bodies, Swashbucklers 2, Albert Boogaloo, which is on every Monday. And yeah, I'll be streaming later today playing Tex Murphy Martian Memorandum if you want to check that out. So follow me on Twitter at BlissSteel.
Awesome, rock and roll. And last but certainly not least, that brings us around to Gilbert. Your pertinence, please.
Yes, of course. Hello, I am Gilbert Ramos, aka at Ramos the Nomad everywhere. You can finally find me primarily over on the Rolling Nomads Twitch, over on twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads. This month we are doing a charity stream that will be uh, uh, in order to raise money through the Trevor Project. As well, we are doing a one shot of Vampire the Masquerade. All these things, of course, we still advertise on our Blue Sky at Rolling Nomads and our Twitter at _Rolling Nomads. That's primarily where I operate at, is at the Rolling Nomads, Twitch and Discord and all that, of which I am the media director. I'm also a freelance writer of varying variety. I that's all I got. I was doing good and then I lost it.
You did just fine. I appreciate you. And that leaves me. I'm Travis. My pronouns are he, they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. Most recently, obviously, I was developer on Bizarre Kingdoms. That link is in the chat multiple times and pinned to the top of the chat. If you've not yet done so, please consider heading over there and supporting Bizarre Kingdoms on Kickstarter. If you have supported it, thank you so much. Please share it with your friends. If you can't afford to support it, that's okay. Please share the link on your social media. Anything that we can do to get the word out helps immensely. I want to thank my players so much for being here and for helping me show off Odysseys and Overlords. I love getting a chance to play with y'all. It's very cool to be able to do so. If you've not yet done so, please follow, subscribe, all that good jazz. And we will see you again real soon. I will be back tomorrow over at the Onyx Path channel. I'm going to shout that out. For my bi-weekly They Came from the Cyclops' Cave game. And this stands to be a pretty interesting episode. It is probably our penultimate episode in this arc. Might be the last episode of this arc, depending on how well the players do. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves and each other. Get your shots, wash your hands, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye, everybody.